Secrets Revealed Live. Fed is like no other day. Actually, it is like every other. It happens. I used to do this thing where I would do stand-up. People were forced to watch because it was my birthday, so they had to be nice to me. And I would bomb every time. In fact, I'm doing it on the internet this time. Yes, the topic is about AMC Stonks. Because it's hilarious that AMC stocks are up because of the internet, because of dudes on Reddit who say it's up. So that's the show today. All right, I'm going to roll the intro in a sec. All right, so today, AMC Stonks. What's with that? The idea is simple. Every day, I go live for about 10 minutes. I used to talk about digital marketing. Well, sometimes I still do, because that's what I do for work. I help businesses get more customers through highly targeted in-market buyer prospect advertising, yada, yada, yada. But I came to this realization today that the reality is, who cares? Because right now, I mean, technically the numbers are showing that there's not that many people watching right now. So I can do anything I want. And I kind of want to just be myself. I know that's a bad idea. The worst advice is be yourself. Because, like, who wants to see that? But I'm doing the counterintuitive thing. In fact, I had this guy once who I kind of considered a mentor, because he was financially successful, and I think he was an accountant, but he's a really great guy who I like, and he would tell it to me straight. That's why I liked him. He would tell it to me straight, and he's like, I tried to sell this guy art because I was selling art because I love art, and I started this art business, and the guy never bought any art from me. But he would be like, just sell the art. You're making it too complicated. Just sell the art. Like, this is what it is. Here, show pictures. Show people pictures of it. Carry it on your phone. Show people. Say, here, this is what it is. He's like, you make things too complicated. And he would get this sense. I'm pretty sure he would get the sense of, like, what did he say? I forget the term he used. I forget what he had this perfect insult for me, and I've since blocked it out of my memory. But it was it'll come back to me. But he thought, and he's like, I'm trying to remember the word he used to insult me. It was so perfect. I can't wait till it comes back to me. It'll come back to me, and I'll just blurt it out. Try not to let that get distracted. Another thing is, I get distracted. I talk about one thing, and then I go off on another subject, and, like, eventually I bring it back. But first, you have to go with me around the cul-de-sac, and go on a pony ride, and then roll around in the grass and go down the slip and slide with me. But eventually, I bring it back. So he would tell me, "Cockamamie, that's it." That's the word he used to describe me, or describe like how I operate. He's like, "You come up with these cockamamie business ideas." Cockamamie. That's it. Such a great word. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna use that as like cockamamie. I'm gonna use that as like the title. I don't know how to spell it. I can't do this show and write words. But I think I'm gonna use that for a title of like my special. Cockamamie. So he says to me, "You always come up with these cockamamie ideas." He's like, George Costanza, that episode of Seinfeld where George Costanza did the opposite. George Costanza does the opposite. Like, I love this scene where he's in this episode where they're in the restaurant that they always frequent, and he goes up to this blonde woman, and he's like, "I live with my parents," and I don't know what he said, but he did the opposite, and she was into that. So my friend, who is kind of my mentor, he was like, "Do the opposite. Whatever Sean would do the opposite of that." And I was like, "Wait, what? I don't even know what the opposite." Here's what I couldn't comprehend. Like, here's how my mind works. Like, because I don't think in duality. Typically, I mean, most of us think in dualities. Like, we compare this or that usually, and so I do sometimes. But most of the time, I don't really think in terms of this or that, either or, black or white. So I can't imagine what the opposite is. I don't know what the opposite is of things. Like, what is the opposite of a tree? It doesn't really have an opposite. A tree is a tree. It doesn't really have an opposite. And I was like that. Like, I'm so unique that I don't know what the opposite of me is. It's because I'm incomparable. You can't compare me with anybody. I didn't say that, but I was confused. I was clearly confused. Like, I don't know what the opposite of that would be. So he was like, "Do the opposite." I don't know if I ever took him up on that. I don't know if I ever figured it out, but something clicked today. Because here's what did it. I got this. I'm not getting any payment for this, any sort of affiliate payment for this, but I love Audible because I love audiobooks. I love books, and I like to just consume so much information that I just want to do it in my ears while I'm doing other things with my eyes, so I can just like absorb. Anyway, I love Audible. So audiobooks. Oh, noticed I got glasses recently because now it's easier for me to read. So that's why I got into audiobooks, because my vision was getting funny on me. Because I just had a birthday, so I'm not a kid anymore. So now I'm a person who wears glasses, I guess. I don't know, but I can read stuff, and since I couldn't really read stuff that easy, it got frustrating. And plus, I wanted to consume it really fast while I was doing other things. Anyway, there you go on another tangent. And I love Audible. And what was I saying? Oh, so I was listening today to Maria Bamford, the comedian. She has this book on Audible, and it's so funny. And she gives her steps on how to be a comedian, how to write an hour of stand-up. And it reminded me that, like, I really love comedy. I never thought I was funny on purpose. I was always funny by accident. People would laugh at me about something I said or did, and I didn't mean to do it, but it was funny, and I didn't intend to do it. But when I try to be funny on purpose, it's terrible. But I'm doing this thing where the first rule, trying this out because it's like almost like a life philosophy, is just call what you do stand-up comedy, whatever it is. So this is now stand-up comedy. Okay? It's just all stand-up comedy. It doesn't even have to be good. It could be terrible. Her advice is fail. Just fail hard. So it doesn't even have to be good. But it's stand-up comedy. That's what it is. You must accept that. So yeah, do the counterintuitive thing. So my friend called me Cockamamie and told me to do the opposite. So I'm trying to do this counterintuitive thing now. Because you know how I talk about personal development, mindset, and stuff? Well, I got into that because I wanted to succeed. Like, I wanted to make money. I wanted to be successful financially and my goal is to have a yacht. It's like, Gary Vee, he's famous in America as an entrepreneur. People around the world, I don't think he's well known, but he talks about he wants to own the New York Jets. That's his thing. So for me, it's a yacht. I want to own a yacht. What was my point? I don't know. Oh yeah, this show is about AMC Stonks. Because life is a game. Here's my point. Life is a game. It really is. Whether you believe that or not, it doesn't matter. Because there's this concept called gamification, where you make things a game. And the human mind wants that. The human mind wants to solve puzzles and wants to be engaged. We want to solve riddles. So if you treat everything as a game, it doesn't matter if it's a game. It is a game. I mean, it doesn't matter if you don't think it's a game, if you think it's serious. Because there are serious things that happen, of course. But approaching life as a game is a beautiful way to go to make your way through the world and actually like make sense of it all and have fun with it. So I'm treating everything as a game. So stonks are a game, money is a game, life is a game. So the beautiful thing about AMC Stonks is a bunch of dudes on the internet are playing the same game that Wall Street plays. So to catch you up, if you haven't been following, is long story short, this group on Reddit, the subreddit called Wall Street Bets, noticed that these hedge funds were shorting companies like GameStop and AMC. I'm pretty sure they even went after BlackBerry, but AMC and GameStop are like the big ones. So they noticed that the hedge funds were shorting these companies. So they all went in and they bought these stocks. So the price had to go up. And because the hedge funds were trying to short these companies, they had to pay for all of it, and they lost a ton of money. One of them actually lost so much money that the other hedge funds had to bail them out. Like, they would have been out of business, but they bail each other out. But it's beautiful that a bunch of just regular dudes can get online and make things happen on the stock market. That is so cool. That is the power of the world we live in today. Things have changed to the point where the stock market used to be a thing that only Wall Street people do and only like hedge fund people do. But the reality is that we have the same access to information now, and we have the power to get together and make things happen. There's no punchline there. It's just cool. And more power to them. I hope AMC stocks go through the roof. So anyway, I'm doing this counterintuitive thing where I'm not trying to, sell stuff or be serious. See how long this lasts. I don't know. But you know what I mean. Oh, this is what I was getting at. I got into this personal development kind of thing a few years ago because I found myself like in a position where I didn't know what to do. Because I worked as a makeup artist, and but at a cosmetics counter, and you can't scale that unless you own your own cosmetics company. And I didn't at the time. I didn't think I was ready to like start my own cosmetics company because I really didn't love it enough to really like. It's so competitive. You have to really love that. It's a saturated market, and if you get into cosmetics, you have to love it because it's so competitive. If you don't love it, there's no way you're going to make it. I don't believe that you should always do what you love. Sometimes you can do what you hate and still be financially successful. But most of the time, you have to do what you love because it's just so difficult that you have to love it or else you won't do it. Depends on your personality type. So anyway, I started this company, like I said. I'm bringing it back, artlingo.com, ARTLYNGO. But that's beside the point. When I started it, though, I needed a business, and I just needed to do something because I had gone to art school to study advertising, and there I was, like in the same boat where I started from. I'm going to wrap this up. This is going way too long. But long story short, I realized that my problem wasn't like lack of education. My problem was I didn't get money. I didn't understand money. I was always like I was always without money. I didn't know how to make money. I didn't know how to keep money. I didn't know how to multiply my money. That was my problem. So I discovered this whole like I don't know, went down the rabbit hole. Basically, it started with one of Robert Kiyosaki's books, Cash Flow Quadrant, and then it led me to other things, and I eventually got hooked into this personal development kind of machine. Because here's what they do, like these. I don't even want to call myself an entrepreneur anymore, because these entrepreneurs online, like they try and hook people in. Like these guys like who I was, who trying to get ahead, trying to do it your own way. You have to have a business. There are people who, do well working for other people, but I think all of the billionaires of the world own their own business. So you have to be an entrepreneur at some point. You have to own your own business at some point. But anyway, I got into this like thing where I'll just say it, like I was involved in Grant Cardone did this mentorship thing, and it was like his first attempt at doing this sort of like group mentorship thing, and it was interesting, but it kind of for my personality type didn't work. Because I'll tell you why it didn't work, and it's nothing to do with him, because I knew what I was getting into. And he's a different personality type than I am. So it basically ruined me. It's not his fault. It's me. It's like it's the way I went about things. And by ruined me, I mean it like destroyed me financially. But the thing is, again, it's not his fault. It's because I was already like not on a strong foot financially. That's why. And then like I wanted to change so bad that I made a bad decision that was actually against what he recommends. So, one more time, it was not his fault. It was not the fault of that kind of personal development scene, but it was me. And I quit my day job at a point where I shouldn't have quit my day job. But I wanted change so bad, and I knew that job wouldn't exist in a few years. And I know the pandemic hurt that job, and I don't know if it still exists today, even. I mean, I think it does, but it is bleak. So anyway, I just wanted to fast forward to be done with that part of my life. So I quit a day job prematurely. And that, like, I didn't have what it takes to, like, get ahead financially. So anyway, my point is cockamamie. I made these cockamamie decisions. And the reality is like, I don't even want to be a part of the whole entrepreneur scene, because like it started to be cool to be entrepreneur. Like it was, I don't know, trendy or whatever. And that's a stupid reason to do anything. But what I'm getting at is you gotta fail hard and fail big. That's not for everybody. Like, here's the thing. Like, you could either focus on success, but you have to define success for yourself. And you could focus on failure, but you always have to redefine failure. And there's no such thing as failure. It just, at least for me, I learn from things, and it makes me who I am. But I don't want to even talk about that kind of stuff anymore. I just want to be funny and be who I am and just not worry about anything. So I know the topic of this episode was, it's the cool thing about it is that I love that people can do whatever we set our mind to do, we can do. And there's evidence. Like, Wall Street is no match for the internet. And I'll end the show with that. I don't know. I just love that I remembered how my friend described me, cockamamie. And I think I'm going to embrace that and own that and like see how far I can take that. So anyway, I started doing this show because I needed an outlet. And also, I wanted people to know who have businesses that I can help them get more customers. And at this point, whatever. I'm just going to end this show right now. And that's it, because I've ran out of things to say. All right. And I got a bunch of work to do. All right. Thanks for watching. I have spoken.